In a standard dispute, sharing facts resolves the conflict, but with a high conflict personality, the debate itself is the objective, a tool used to shift the narrative and keep the underlying behavior hidden. Over the next 6 minutes, we will assemble a systematic response plan. The goal is to move past individual arguments and create a record that forces institutional actors to see the documented reality of the situation. To begin, open a private document on a secure device. This must remain entirely inaccessible to the other party as you build your records and notes. Transitioning from emotional reaction to clinical precision is often the only way to neutralize this dynamic. Survival requires a shift in focus, from the person to the pattern. Effective strategy begins with observation. While narcissistic behavior can feel incredibly chaotic, research suggests that behavior under pressure is often subtype specific and follows predictable paths. This matrix classifies 4 primary subtypes: grandiose, vulnerable, covert, and malignant. Grandiose types overreach publicly when challenged. Vulnerable types rely on contradictory narratives that fracture under scrutiny. Covert types use subtle smears visible through audit trails. Malignant types commit boundary violations triggering enforcement. Correct identification allows you to anticipate these specific reactions. By understanding the subtype, you can wait for the inevitable behavior that exposes the pattern to third parties. Control of information is your primary defense. You must route every interaction through a single, documented channel, like email or a dedicated parenting app, and refuse all side-channel communication. Immediately stop disclosing your emotional state, future plans, support networks, or personal vulnerabilities. Any information provided will be treated as targeting data for retaliation. This restriction extends to third parties, often called flying monkeys, who may carry messages for the adversary. Treat these interactions with functional silence, offering no defenses or explanations that could be reported back. Removing this beta denies the adversary the material they need to construct false narratives or influence institutional actors. Your next step is building an evidence log. This record serves one function: demonstrating a pattern of behavior over time. It must remain strictly separate from your personal processing of the situation. Each entry must be atomic, containing only one isolated, observable fact. Record the date, the specific incident, and the source. Use precise tags like direct observation or documented message. Record verbatim quotes exactly as delivered, without adding your own interpretation or adjectives. Avoid using emotional language in these records. Courts and HR departments frequently interpret emotional descriptions as evidence of mutual hostility, which can damage your credibility as an objective reporter. A clinical, factual record shifts the focus of the investigation. It moves the decision-making process away from a he said, she said debate and onto the verifiable evidence of the behavior. Maintaining composure is a tactical necessity. When you remain regulated, you preserve your signal of credibility to outside observers. Use the 2-second rule. Deliberately pause for a breath before responding to high-conflict interactions. This interrupts the impulse to react, keeping your physiology under control. Practice a flat affect during all interactions that might be observed or recorded. Use private spaces, like therapy or a trusted circle, to discharge the anger and grief that naturally arise. Systematically denying an emotional reaction often forces the adversary to escalate their behavior to get a response. In a documented environment, this escalation only makes their pattern more visible to third parties. Your exit strategy should be dictated by structural realities. You must evaluate the situation based on objective constraints rather than your current emotional state. This flowchart tracks variables defining your path: shared children, ongoing legal cases, or unavoidable professional overlap. These nodes lead to 4 endpoints: no contact, parallel parenting, legal termination, or managed exposure. Each path has a specific win condition based on enforcing structural boundaries. Success in these scenarios is measured by the establishment of enforceable structural constraints. You are working toward a predictable environment where their behavior is limited by external rules. You now have the components of a comprehensive response: an identified profile, a communication blackout, a pattern-based record, and a clear endgame. Grave. Avoid the mistake of sending an emotional letter or seeking an apology. Sharing your pain with someone who lacks the capacity for empathy only provides them with intelligence they can use in their next move. Log your first factual entry today. Rely on the structure of the system you've built. Maintain your composure